Hi, it's Liz again. If this is your first time viewing this, I'm usually at the information desk at the Derry Public Library, and I'm a huge movie fan for those who don't know. Also, this is Watanuki. I was informed it was Bring Your Pet Day to the DPL live stream, and off he goes. Apparently, he is camera shy. Today, I'm here to give you some viewing picks, the most pressing question of our time, which is what's on Netflix, since we're all thinking of things to watch right now, but what with, COVID-19 and a snowstorm. Today I'm going to give you both some movie and some TV picks. I'm going to start off with Netflix original viewing. So there's a lot of stuff that people already know about. Orange is the New Black, Queer Eye, Stranger Things, obviously. So what I want to highlight is stuff that you might not see advertised on their front page. So the first I'm going to talk about is one of their original series that premiered a few years ago and I really love, and that's Glow. Definitely more for, an adult set. It's a fictionalized account of the early days of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. It's got comedy, it's got drama, it has a fantastic cast, and it's 3 seasons in. The 4th one is coming out soon. I mean, who knows with shooting being halted right now. But it's really great, and aside from good writing and good stunts, it's really fun to just watch these women kind of form a bond and camaraderie with each other. The other one is definitely more family friendly, and that is She-Ra and the Princesses of. It is a reboot of the old 80s She-Ra series, only this time, instead of just trying to sell toys, they're actually trying to tell a story. It's another. Everyone's going to find someone to love. The colors are fantastic. The animation's really good. And it's just a really fun story. If I can like it, and I think everyone knows that my tastes generally don't skew very, cutesy, I think you can like it as well. For the reality show, if you're looking for something, I'm going to recommend Nailed It. It's a fairly simple show. It is amateur bakers try to recreate these very intricately decorated cakes and usually not succeeding. Everyone's in on the joke. Everyone's here to have a good time. And the host, Nicole Byer, is so much fun. Like, she's worth the price of admission. There's also some great series on Netflix right now. I'm going to say The Good Place. That's obviously an NBC show that just wrapped up, but if you want something feel good, that show's going to be great for you. Over the Garden Wall is another kind of family-friendly, or at least I would say kind of Gravity Falls-ish. So if your kids liked Gravity Falls, they'll like Over the Garden Wall. And definitely all ages pick is We Bare Bears. That's a Cartoon Network show about 3 bears who live in the forest outside of San Francisco. They're short 11-minute episodes, and it's just a joy to watch. So I'm going to jump to foreign films because Netflix actually has a pretty decent foreign film selection. The first one I'm going to recommend is a little timely. It's a zombie movie. It's called Train to Busan. And I know some people, when they say hear foreign movie, they think, oh no, subtitles. The good thing about an action movie is subtitles aren't the most important thing. You can gauge what's happening based on action. Train to Busan is a good, high-octane. It pretty much gets to the point 10 minutes in, and it doesn't stop till it gets there. It's from South Korea, and if you watched the Oscars this year and saw Parasite dominate, you know that South Korea is making some great movies right now. Another one I'm going to recommend is a little older, 2006 Pan's Labyrinth. That's the movie that kind of showed us, like, oh my gosh, Guillermo del Toro can do more than just Hellboy. I mean, I love Guillermo del Toro. The man gave me Pacific Rim. He pretty much has a pass for life, and I'm so glad he eventually won an Oscar. But, I mean, Shape of Water's great, but if you ask me, Pan's Labyrinth is his masterpiece, and it's got enough sort of a fantasy element to it that if you are watching it and you have, like, older kids, like in their early teens, they can probably watch the movie as well. It's a fantasy fable set during the Spanish Civil War, and it's fantastic. The final foreign film I'll recommend is one that's actually mostly in English. It's just a multinational production, and that's Snow. You've probably heard of it, especially since Bong Joon-ho won an Oscar. This was the movie that really introduced him to mainstream Western audiences. It's basically the world has frozen over. All the survivors are on one train that's headed by this corporate master that's worshipped as a god. It's a movie that seems fairly one-dimensional on its face, but Once you watch it, you'll see that there are a lot of layers to this movie, and it works as both an action movie, a human drama, a lesson movie. Oh, sorry, I just touched my face, but I'm inside. But yeah, check out Snowpiercer. It goes on and off Netflix, but if it's on right now and you need 2 hours to kill, watch it. Next, I'm going to go to just very crowd-pleasing films. Dumpling, which was a Netflix, I think it was a Netflix original, but that's based on a young adult book. It's a girl who's plus size who decides to go into a beauty pageant, and it's a very body positive movie. It's not about putting anybody down. It's all about everyone finding their talent, what makes them pretty. It's just a very positive movie. And it's got a lot of Dolly Parton in it. That's never a bad thing. Also, it's a limited series, but it just came out and I want to highlight it. Madam C.J. Walker. I'm really shocked it took this long to get a movie made about her. She's one of the first entrepreneurs in America, definitely the first Black female entrepreneur. So if you want a little bit of reality with your entertainment, that's a good one to watch. And Into the Spiderverse, which won Best Animated Feature in 2018. That movie is fantastic. Sorry, my cat is sneezing right now. Sorry about that. Into the Spider-Verse, if you haven't watched it already, I would definitely recommend looking it up. Very sorry about that, guys. Also, if you're a Quentin Tarantino fan, got a bunch of movies up there right now. The Hateful Eight, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and my personal favorite, Inglourious Bastards. That's definitely one where, language-wise, keep an eye out for it if you're not a fan of the F word. I'm a horror fan, so of course I have to recommend horror. There's some great titles up on Netflix right now. The Witch, which was one of my favorite movies of the past 10 years, is great. The original Wicker Man, and before you say not the bees, this is not the one with Nicolas Cage. This is the old one with Christopher Lee. And I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially if the only one you know is the very, very, very bad one with Nicolas Cage. Also, since the remake is coming out, which I'm actually pretty hyped for, watch the original Candyman. It is a great movie and a great performance by Tony Todd. And I'm going to end with a personal recommendation, which is this movie called The Invitation. If you're not a fan of gore, if you're not a fan of monsters, this is a perfect one for you. It's basically this guy goes to a dinner party, realizes something isn't right, and it goes from there. Final recommendation I'm going to give is a documentary, and this is one called Paris is Burning. If you're a fan of the show Pose, or you've heard about it, you've probably heard of something called ball culture, which was something that originated mainly in the 80s, where people who were LGBTQ would go give sort of fashion shows within their community. And this was made over the course of 10 years, people who live in that community. And it gets a little sad, especially if you look at all the people who were interviewed. Most of them, I think all of them, are no longer with us. I think we're all succumbed to HIV/AIDS, or in some cases, anti-LGBTQ violence. But it's still a very vibrant documentary, and one that's about a culture, a subculture that was almost forgotten by the mainstream, and pretty much until Pose came on FX. So thank you for watching today. I'm very sorry about the background noise. Hopefully you didn't hear it as much as I did. And I'll be back tomorrow with Prime recommendations, which, get ready, Prime is a treasure trove of weird things that you've probably never even heard of. So stay safe, and hopefully you'll enjoy some of these recommendations.